Welcome to Live Into Your Best Life, a show where people learn how to go from where they are to where they'd like to be in any area of life. If you're looking for a new job, wanting to improve your relationships, or even reclaim your health, Skaya will share with you a simple formula that can take you on a journey to begin to live into your best life in all areas of life. Now sit back and begin your journey.
Hi there, and welcome to Live Into Your Best Life. I'm Skaya, your show's host, and today it's my honor to be here with Lucy Davis. So let me just introduce Lucy, and then we're going to get to know her a little bit. Lucy is an accomplished entrepreneur and a contractor with over 20 years of experience in residential and commercial property management. She specializes in roofs, siding, windows, gutters, and solar shingles. Lucy has built a remarkable career as a leader in the construction industry, breaking barriers in a traditionally male-dominated field. After losing her husband in 2023, Lucy has stepped up in incredible ways, taking full responsibility for her family and business while teaching her kids the ropes of entrepreneurship. Together, they've joined forces in the family business, embodying resilience, teamwork, and the pursuit of growth. Lucy's journey is one of grit, grace, and unwavering dedication to her family and her craft. So welcome, Lucy. Thank you.
That was very nice. Thank you for the intro.
I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about you because when we were talking the other day, it was like, oh, your story just has so many layers. And I just, as a reminder, so Live Into Your Best Life is all about how people take their lives from where they are and create what they'd like. And that's what I love about your story is that you have gone through a lot, you've overcome a lot, and you have achieved a lot. And so tell me a little bit about the family business, if you will.
Yeah. So family business, I can start and there's layers. But yes, really what I've done this year is just take an approach with my kids and wanting to show them learning those ropes of how to build something and get through it. And I heard a podcast the other day and it was like the difference between people that are well off and those that are not is that family tradition. You're building that wealth together. So I just took that a little more serious and I want to bring them on board and help them just learn those ropes. I think if you're in today's world, sometimes everyone wants to go off on their own, which I think is healthy in a certain sense, but it makes you a little weaker. And I just tell my kids this, you don't have to learn the mistakes I've already spent so much time learning. Let's go further together. And so we're really diving into this property management. We're getting into some investments, but the construction side of things is so big, I would say.
Yeah. You can get into a lot of different areas.
Yeah. So I think long term, we want to run properties and help them learn that part of it.
Cool. So how many kids do you have?
4 kids.
Okay. And how old are they?
So my oldest is 20. She'll be 21 in June. And then I have 18, 16, and 11.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I do have, long story short, but when my husband passed, he had 3 kids full time as well. So we were a Brady Bunch of 7, but they're not with me anymore. So eventually I'm hoping I get to see them as we grow here, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah. And so you'll bring them into the fold as it all comes together, right? Yeah.
When I can. Yep.
I love what you're doing with the 4, right? Because even at 11, it's never too young to teach kids those foundational skills that they're going to need for life and need to be successful.
Right.
And family is a really, you have some strong family bonds and traditions. And as you were growing up, you come from a family that it sounded to me like was really close and took care of each other.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. We still have our issues, like all families do.
Indeed.
But I think we went through so much together that there's this tight bond that we have where we rely on each other and we can get through anything. And there's a bunch of entrepreneurs in our family. My mom's cleaning company, my brother's construction company, we got a painting company. So we got it all.
That's really cool. And
Yeah,
it sounds like the businesses are all focused on helping other people build their family
right.
bonds as well. Like, because
Correct.
your
Yeah.
home, your heart is where the home is,
Exactly.
right?
Yes. I love homes. That's where you find comfort. And I think it comes from when I was a kid, we just never had that. We didn't have that foundation. We were always moving, always going through so much trauma. But I think that's why I strive to build that for others.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. You mentioned a little bit a few moments ago about the kind of some struggles and how you come closer by working
Mhm.
through the challenges. And then also, I think when you have less as a kid, you work harder to achieve what you want.
Right.
And because you and I have similar backgrounds in that
Yeah.
regard. And one of the things that I always said is I'm not going to gift things like educations and stuff to my kids because I had to work for it and it made
Yeah.
me stronger.
Yeah.
And my husband and I were just talking about how a lot of parents in this era seem to give their kids so much and it's like you don't have to work as hard, then you don't learn that work ethic or you don't build that muscle to
Yeah.
overcome the challenges. So, what are some of those benefits you're already seeing with your kids?
Yes, I am. I love that. It's funny because I worked really hard and I started making money and then I was loving taking care of my kids, but it just came with such pain, like ungratefulness. Like I would get so frustrated. I'm like, you guys don't even know what you have. So I worked hard on breaking that with them, but it did get to the point where I don't even know what else to take from you away from you guys anymore.
Yeah.
But it there's something to be said when, at least from my experience, when my child goes through something and they can turn around and they're proud of themselves. That is the best feeling. I love giving that to them. And it's painful for me to do that because I just want to take care of it for them, but I have to see them struggle and fight through it. And then I see they just, they take it a little further and they're so proud. And I've done it in nuggets where I'll make them pay for their own stuff. They have, when we first got a dog, they had a lemonade stand and worked, I think, for a few weekends in a row to buy him.
Nice. That's
So
awesome.
just things like that. And I noticed that they're just so proud of themselves. And I think it's hard to find that in today's world where everything is handed to you and then you're, especially with the social media and the screen. But that's the big thing, is just how do I help them learn and be proud of themselves that they achieved something. So it's hard as a mom because yeah, it comes with letting them hurt, and I don't like that, but I know it's best for them.
It is. It is. It's that
Yeah,
I use the butterfly and the cocoon analogy,
yeah,
and you're helping them build the strength of their wings so that they can
right.
fly. Oh,
Yeah, and I love it. Oh, it's the best feeling in the world when
it,
they're
and they're
achieving.
never too young to learn.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yesterday I was at Hobby Lobby with my daughter and granddaughter, and
Uh-huh.
we were buying decorations for an event I'm hosting. And my granddaughter found it's a little purse. Literally, it's as big as her head. She's only 3. And
That's
it's
cute.
this fuzzy smiley face. And they
Okay.
had a few different colors, and she, of course, wanted pink. And it's
Mhm.
got this chain on it. And she put it on like it's her own purse, and then the zipper in the
Mhm.
top, and she was packing stuff in it, and she was pretending she had snacks to eat. She already had made it hers. It was $5.99,
Uh-huh.
and my daughter said, "And how are you going to buy that?" And she
Uh-huh.
said, "With my pretend credit card." And we just laughed. And then Heather asked, "And how are you going to pay off your pretend credit card?"
Yeah.
"I will have to get a job." "What do you think
Oh,
I can do for a job?" And,
yes, I
and
love
so,
that.
isn't
Yes.
that great? And so
Yes.
I said, "Maybe Mimi can hire you to help decorate on Saturday."
Oh,
And
there you
she
go.
said, "Oh, I can do that. Mom, do you think you could take me to Mimi's?" And my
Yeah.
daughter says, "Since I'm going there, I think that I can." But
That's
it was,
cute.
at the age of 3, she had already pieced together that she wanted this thing. It wasn't
Mhm.
part of the shopping list.
Yeah.
and she needed to figure out how was she going to be able to purchase it.
Yeah.
And she knew that she needed to do something to
Yeah.
get this thing that, and she was so excited. And then when we got to the cash register, she was so proud to show the cashier what she was getting and what she had to do for it.
I love that. I love that. I had a similar situation with my youngest. She's 15 now, but she was like, I think 4 years old, and I take her
Okay.
to work with me all the time, and she had lipstick and similar story. But I remember she had worked hard for her $5, and then we went to spend it, and she had a few cents off. She's, Mom, why was it more than it said it was? And I was like, Honey, that's taxes. She's, I don't like taxes.
No, exactly. I don't like taxes
I
either.
love that comment. It was so funny.
Oh, and you know what? Okay, this is really silly, but gosh, I was like 7, I think, 6 or
Mhm.
7, maybe 8.
Mhm.
And for 2 weeks in the summer, my sister and I would go down and stay in Cedar Rapids, Iowa with my aunt and her kids.
Mhm.
And this one particular day, we took the bus and we went
Mhm.
to the Ben Franklin, and
Mhm.
we had a certain amount of money. And I think we each had 15 cents or 20 cents or something like that. It
Okay.
wasn't a lot, but we had a little bit of money to spend at the dime store. And I remember picking out 2 pencils, and I put the pencils up, and I didn't have enough money. I was a penny short.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'll get 1 pencil. And when
Uh-huh.
they charged me for the pencil, all of a sudden I had enough left over that I could get both pencils. So if I
Oh.
bought them together, the tax was higher than if I bought them individually.
Oh,
And I
what?
remember that math trick. So it was just a penny, but as a little kid, it made an
Yeah.
impression. So
Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
think these moments, these
Mm.
teaching
Yeah,
moments, they stick with our kids.
yeah. Yeah, that's the biggest thing too. Another thing, I tend to work too much sometimes. I'm working on it, trying to balance out. But I've always just had my kids join me because I feel like I could spend more time with them while I'm on this roller coaster of life that I can't slow down on. So, but I've loved it. They've sold books and cookies. We've always had some sort of entrepreneurship going on. I started my first business when I was 9 years old, opened a candy store.
Nice.
but, but yeah, I love that. But yeah, I had just used that to spend more time with them. And this year they're all joining me, which I'm really happy for them. So it'll be a
That's
fun,
really cool.
yeah.
When my kids were little, they went with me everywhere.
Yeah.
They learned how to run projects. They learned the entrepreneurial skills. They
Hmm.
learned how to engage with the community. And my daughter actually wound up getting a lot of scholarships out of the deal.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
there's so many benefits to having our
Yeah,
kids by our sides. All
I
right.
agree.
So you have been working in a male dominant
Yes. Hmm.
arena.
Hmm.
So talk a little bit about what's the business? What do you do? And are some of those opportunities you've experienced?
Yes. Yeah. As a contractor, I always say, oh, yes, I'm a contractor, even though I don't look like one, is my saying, because you get those looks. My favorite scenarios is so I started doing this by myself once my husband passed away, just diving in. But we had so much fun when I joined him working together. He was a blast to work with. But yeah, I think he just dragged me into it a little bit more, and now that I'm in this situation, obviously unexpected, it's been a fun journey. I didn't think I could. I don't know, going through something like that, you don't think you can get through it, but somehow I'm here. But it's been really fun. I've hired some canvassers. I build my team. It's funny talking to homeowners. Sometimes I'll show up and they think my canvassers they're immediately talking to the male,
Yeah.
and then it's so funny because they just bypass me, and then I start talking and they're like, whoops. I love doing that. I shouldn't say I love doing that, but what I find is that it's fun being a female in the industry, but that's the first impression. It comes down to knowledge. I laugh and joke about it, but it really comes down to knowing the job, and once I start talking and managing it, then I don't really have any issues at all, honestly. I find people respect, obviously, I think it just, you have to know your craft. Um, and that confidence that brings to the table for me is really helpful. So, yeah, but there's been certain scenarios here and there I have had where I've lost some customers being a female, I'm assuming, but those will come and go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
overall, it's really fun.
and I think that the challenge is stereotyping in society, right? Like
Yeah.
years and years ago, we're still, as females, we're still overcoming some
Yeah.
of those
Yeah.
old ways, right?
Yeah. And it's okay. I understand that. It's a stereotype that I can overcome within the first sentence of talking. I totally understand that, but I have so much fun. It really is a blast.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. What
Yeah.
makes you enjoy it so much? What about what you do makes it fill you up?
Yes. Honestly, it's just the people I meet, my customers are awesome. I think that problem solving is one of my strengths. I love having a new problem. Just every day is different. You never know what the day is going to bring in. And I do really well with moving fast on a fast pace like that and just handling different components of the job. I guess I thrive in that. I love it. I'm a strategic thinker. I love approaching each day with I'm very growth focused, but each day is just new challenges. I think that's the fun part of it. It's just like roller coaster. You never have each project's so different. But yeah, I ran a digital marketing company before this. I've been in the industry for a long time. I come from house cleaning, drywall, and painting. There's my last husband, we had a construction company where we did custom woodwork as well. And I've worked in Yellowstone, huge mansions, in Tampa Bay with floating stairs. We've done all sorts of projects. but I don't know. I just love approaching each scenario, just something different. But I was going to say, I was in the digital marketing company for a while and I was stuck behind the computer and that just killed me. I'm too much of customer facing. And so I think that's when I really learned that I'm not meant to be behind a computer.
So, and I
So
think that's really cool that you found that you
yeah,
were able to realize this isn't a fit for me. And so how did you know that?
honestly, that's where my husband came in. So when I met him, I had my marketing company for 4 years and I was doing pretty well for myself, supporting my family full time and was just right after a divorce. But I was taking care of about 15 restaurants in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and it was corporate world. And so I just found that I was working like 12, 13 hours every day. I tend to be a workaholic. I'm working on it. But when he's in the construction industry and he was off all winters. And so I would be on my computer and he'd be like, all right, let's do something. When are you done? When are you done? And I'm like, I'm never done. And there was one moment where my daughter came in and she was in college going back and forth and she came in trying to talk to me and I was listening to her while I was typing.
Mhm.
And he just looked at me and said, hey, your daughter's trying to connect with you. Can you turn it off? And I realized that I had a really hard time turning it off. And that moment hit me. I wasn't present with my kids. I was getting depressed. I was just high anxiety. And I remember making a decision at that point to close my business down. And I haven't looked back ever since. It's funny,
Nice.
even right now, being on a computer, I get this PTSD.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't go back because it sucks me in and then I'm trapped, I feel.
Mhm.
But I do remember that. And it's taken me a lot of work to be present and focus on pulling myself out of that kind of depression I was in a little bit. But yeah, so he really helped me. And that's when I started working with him full time and fell in love. I just love this industry.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. And I find that often there is a moment in time where we realize there's a decision we have to make.
Yeah.
What's more important? What's our priority? Where do our values lie?
Yes, and it's my kids. The fact that I couldn't, even when I shut my computer, I was still so worried about all the little tasks that I didn't do. And I was on my phone, I was answering, and that I didn't realize how bad I was until I got out of it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's
important to be
crazy.
present.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure that they're really happy that you got there.
Yes, I am too. I feel much better.
Nice.
I'm still working on it. I still tend to overdo it sometimes, but
Well, we're always a work in progress. If we're
yeah,
not, we're 6 feet under.
it's a good point.
Good.
I say that
It's a
to my
good
kids
thing
all the
you're working
time.
on it.
I'm like, if we were done, we would be dead. So,
That's right.
yeah,
Exactly. Always
that's
room for
true.
improvement.
Right.
Okay, so you have mentioned a couple of times the housekeeping business, the
Uh-huh.
cleaning service, and
Yes.
you did that with your mom, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, and I think I heard when we were talking the other day, just getting to know each other, I think I heard you say something about you had reached 1 million.
Oh, yes.
And
Um,
so talk a little bit about that business and how, because that's impressive.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I absolutely love this. This is our saving grace. My mom has her whole story, and I'll let her say her side of it because she's got a book coming out and
But
everything, which I'm
yeah,
really impressed and
do you
proud of
know
her.
when the book's coming out?
It actually just launched today. It's on Amazon. I think there's a
Oh,
waiting list. It's a waiting list, but it's there ready for
okay.
pre-order.
You'll have
Uh,
to share the link so that I can
I would
put it
love
in the
that.
show notes. That would be
Sure.
wonderful.
It's called The Dirt Beneath Our Door. And yeah, so she's got the short story. We're from a cult. We escaped this cult and her journey of getting us here. So that's all her story there. But the cleaning company is something that we started when we got here, just obviously to support ourselves. And she'd started on her own. I was 15 when she started it. I helped her back then. And then I got married at age 18 and left the house and
Mhm.
then had two kids and came back, divorced later. And then I just really dove in and doing everything I possibly could to help grow this company. And that was my first experience of doing anything in real numbers, real business.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I think shoot, we were out about 40,000 a year, and then within the time frame that I was there, we went to a million point five. Well, a million, we hit a million, and then I think it was a million point five, like my last year that I was trying to move on my own. But yeah, so it was a really fun journey. The company's still around now. It's amazing. The team we have are great. My mom is excellent at building a strong foundation of culture in her team, and they just have a fabulous crew. We have quite a few customers all over Minnesota, and I think we have about 18 crews.
Wow,
So it's a big family. And
that's cool.
we have all my sisters and brothers, we all work there, and there's 9 of us in our family, so some work there, some have their own businesses, so we're all over the place.
That's fantastic. All right, so I sometimes on my show we talk about how our childhood shapes our adult lives.
Mhm.
And I just want to call out how you are playing that true because you mentioned you're 15, you're working with mom, you're building
Yep,
this business, right? So
yep,
family business, learning those strong work values, family
right.
values, making it happen, overcoming all the things.
Mhm.
And then fast forward, now you're bringing your kids into the fold and teaching them
Yeah,
the same things
yep,
so that they can continue that strong foundation. I think that is
yeah.
just wonderful.
Yes, I'm so grateful for my childhood and being able to sorry, excuse me, being able to go through that because I feel like I know the saying, you can give a man a fish or teach him a fish and they eat for life. I really believe that. And I want to give that to my kids because I look back at this cleaning company, that the whole experience I went through, and I will never trade that for the world because I've grown so many businesses from that experience. And I am where I'm at today because of it. And it was a crazy roller coaster.
Mhm.
And we had some family issues to work through, which is normal, but I'm just so proud of us and working through all of that. And I want that for my family as well.
Yeah, nice. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on this construction journey,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and what's next?
Yeah. I'll just say I absolutely love this construction journey. It's been such a fun roller coaster. My boss is amazing. It's just fun to work with. There's so much room for growth there. One thing I'll tell you that I've learned is you really just have to show up. For me at least, I have this growth goal of what I want to achieve for myself financially and my family.
Mhm.
And what I've done is you can't just look at a company and say, okay, see my potential and pay me what I'm worth. That doesn't work that way. At least from my experience, it doesn't work that way. I'm sure once in a while there's stories out there, but I have to approach it. This is my goal. This is what I want, and I'm going to make it happen.
Mhm.
And I just absolutely love this journey. I've approached it to where I'm responsible for my success, and the company is there to support me, and they've been amazing to work with, and I'm having such a good time. But we're really diving into storytelling, building amazing relationships, and collaborating with other companies. But really, it's just growing our team, growing our marketing. I've taken over actually the companies. I'm a marketing director now.
Okay.
Um, which I brought on an assistant so I don't get stuck behind the computer
I was going to ask. All right, good.
because I was a little
See, you're
panicky.
learning. I love that.
Yeah, I was scared to do that because I have such a passion and drive that I know I have a vision. I love that I can do that. And I finally learned to show up with confidence, knowing where my value is and what I bring to the table. So I do love that. But my weakness, I don't want to get stuck behind the computer. And it's been a great journey, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, it's a fun company to work with. I'm excited for more projects. I'm really looking into the just expanding into the business side of things and bringing on a few more projects. But yeah, I think that's what's next for now. And then we'll be buying some properties to hold just for our families, building up our portfolio. And that's what I have so far. Other than that, I think that's what we're working on.
Nice. Very cool. All
Training.
right. So tell me, when we already talked about the marketing.
Yeah.
So I want you to choose a different experience. Because of what I know about you, I know that you've had many opportunities to do this. So
Yeah.
share with the listeners a previous, prior to the digital marketing, an opportunity where you were going down a path and all of a sudden you're like, wait, this no longer serves me. And you
Oh, I have
paused
too many.
and you pivoted and you went in a different direction.
Yeah.
And kind of what did you learn and what made it okay? And just tell that
Yeah.
story, please.
Oh, I love that for sure. That's a great question. Thank you. Yes, I will share one with you that was actually really hard to pivot, but I knew it was best. 2020, I opened or took over a co-working space on top of
Hmm.
my marketing. I decided to dive into co-working right before 2020 and COVID hit. And so I opened one location in Prior Lake. It was a previous standing co-working space, and then I took it over and made it part of I called it social exchange. Uh,
Mm.
it was really fun. I loved it. There was a lot of, I would say, noise or a lot of conversations around it, and people were loving it on social media, but I was not making money.
Mm.
And people, I'd get people wanting to collaborate and come in and work there for free and do this cross promoting, but I'm still carrying the bill monthly.
Yeah.
So I had a hard time with that. And then I opened another location and collaborated with someone else. So I had two locations open, and I just loved the brand was fun, and everyone was connecting, and everybody wanted to go there, and they want to take photos, and there's a lot of talk and a lot of noise. But when it came down to paying the bills, I had the check. And so every month I was like paying, and I kept hoping that someone would see the value and start.
Contributing.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
It was funny too. Around that time, I learned that other co-working spaces were open, and they raised money first. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that? I'm paying the bill every month. Why didn't I have the community help out? So many mistakes I made, and some partnerships I made too. I felt taken advantage of. I'm very social. I'm fun. I bring good energy, and everybody loved being around that, but no one wanted to pay the bill for it. You know what I mean? So I carried that for about a year, and this was in the middle of getting a divorce and COVID. All of a sudden, it was funny. I had a huge grand opening. It was so much fun. And then all of a sudden it was mask mandate. And I'm like, my grand opening is right on mask mandate, and everyone's going to show up having to wear a mask. I'm panicking. Still was a success, or at least it was a success in the viewers' eyes. It looked
Yeah.
fun.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
cost me a lot of money. But at
Yeah.
some point I sat down and I'm like, I have to bite the bullet, get rid of my ego. I was too proud. I didn't want to admit it was a failure. And I had
Mhm.
to take the loss and close it down. And I remember just having to face everyone and just tell them. And it felt good. It was sad to admit that, but it felt good to no one that's watching is cares if I woke up that day. They're not worried if my kids ate. And
Yep.
that's a hard truth to realize when you have a business that it's fun and everyone says it's fun and they love it and all this stuff, but that's words go so far. The
Yeah,
fact
words don't pay the bills, right?
they don't pay the bills, and that's the biggest thing I've learned. I won't well, I've learned so much in the business industry, but that's one of the things that I think was really hard to bite that bullet, take that. I'm very authentic and connected, and I guess I respect that and value that when people can do that and be honest. But that's just part of the industry. We're all trying. I get it.
Mhm.
So that was what I did. I pivoted. I closed it down. It was so funny
Right.
'cause we had a newsletter publish our story, and then they called me a few months later, and they're like, "Did you close?" I'm like, "Yep, yep. Sorry,
Yeah.
the
It
shame."
was it was a good idea, but the timing and
Hmm.
the lack of reciprocal
Yep,
um, contribution
yep.
created an opportunity that was just a sinkhole,
Yeah,
right?
and it's really sad too. I had a networking group that I would let meet there for free, and I was like,
Mhm.
"I can't. I need you guys to pay something." And
Yeah.
as soon as had that conversation, they kicked me out of the networking group. That was a real slap in the face.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so instead of calling it a failure,
Hmm.
I would actually think that it was a treasure trove of lessons.
Yes. Oh, for sure. For sure. I take full responsibility of how that went. I was so focused on getting that attention that I didn't handle it right. And there were so many things I learned. So many.
And I could be totally off here. Having been divorced before, I know that sometimes when you're in that space, you just want to be around people.
Yeah.
And sometimes we make choices so that we can be around people, even if they're not the healthiest relationships.
For sure. Yeah, and there was times where I'm not working and I'm crying. Like that was one of the hardest, I won't say hardest. Losing my husband was horror. Yeah. Anyways, all the things.
Yes, yes.
But yes, I understand for sure.
And you pivoted and you came through and you learned a
Yep.
lot. So you no
Yeah.
longer have to go through that.
Yes, for
And
sure.
I bet you also have a raised appreciation for what others are doing that you're part of. Like the
Yeah.
networking group that we're part of, I think
Yeah.
you and I have a lot of similarities. And that's why it's so important that when the team gets together, I want to make sure that I'm there to help because I know what that's like to
Yeah.
be held left hanging and
Yeah.
doing it all. And so,
Yes. That's one reason why I joined because I did have this bad taste in my mouth, but you really get what you put into it, I think. But I just absolutely love the leaders here. Joshua's been so good to me, and I'm finding value that you just have to connect with the right people.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Indeed. All right. So you've shared snippets of a variety of areas in your life.
Hmm.
My question: when did you have the greatest lessons in your life? And what did you learn that's helped you get where you are today?
Wow, I've had so many though. The
They're
greatest.
like building blocks, aren't they?
They are. There's
Yeah.
so many. Wow, honestly, this year I've really felt this gratitude for everything I've gone through because all of a sudden I'm looking and I'm like, wow, everything's making sense of you can use everything that I've gone through. And I think when I was in my 20s, it just felt, oh, that was a mistake. Next one. Oh, that was a next one. And you think you have to start all over.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking back and I'm like, everything really is coming to full fruition and I can use for my next just daily and everything that I do. Even though the businesses aren't the same or the experience is different, you're still learning how to work with people. I think the biggest thing is learning myself, who I am. There's a lot that I've done with just, I think, showing up with the confidence of what I bring to the table and the clarity. And that's hard to learn.
It
and
is.
I'm the type that jumps first and then thinks about aiming afterwards.
Ready, fire, aim.
Yes, I love that, and
I do that.
I'm really good at that, but sometimes I approach a situation thinking of making the mistake first so I can get it out of the way, and now I'm looking at it where I don't have to make the mistake first. I can chill and actually enjoy, and take everything that I've learned and put to work for me. But that is a hard question to answer because there are so many huge moments in my life. I don't know. I would say losing my husband has just been such a hard, devastating thing to get through. I think with that, I'm so used of having his support and his overview on me, of understanding me and like direction. And it's interesting to approach that now where I have to like ask myself, you have to do it for yourself. And I don't like that. It's so much easier to let someone take that responsibility. But
Mm.
I find freedom in it, and there's no expectation. And I have that freedom to just enjoy and taking those expectations off of me. But yeah, it's been an interesting thing to learn.
And something you just mentioned, now you're responsible for living your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so
Mm.
used to, oh, my husband, oh, my kids, oh, my job, oh, my work. And now I'm like,
Oh, Lucy, it's all yours.
I love it.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And something that you mentioned in your 20s, oh, I made this mistake. Oh, I made that. But then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
also said you've learned and you're using all
Yeah.
those lessons
Yeah.
from back then. And
Yeah.
I want to take you back to the beginning of our conversation where you were sharing bringing the kids into the
Yeah.
business and
Mhm.
how it's hard to watch them struggle, but
Yeah.
and look at how brilliant you are and all that you've accomplished. And you struggled so that you could
Yeah.
get there because that's how
Right.
you learned. And I
Yeah.
think that's a really great lesson for any of the parents that are listening who are questioning if your kids are going off to school and I even know some parents who struggle letting their kids go off to kindergarten. The
Yes.
helicopter parents wanting to I'm going to just volunteer in the room so I can make sure they're okay. And it's like,
Yeah.
let them grow.
Yeah. Yes. I feel like I've done a good job of letting them grow, but
Mhm.
it's funny. Life is funny. My kids are so amazing though. I'm sure every parent says this, I know. But I just feel so grateful. We have a great connection, great conversations. I just feel this love where I get some friends are like, your kids made you coffee in the morning? Like mine is flipping me up, like teenagers. But I just
Mhm.
absolutely love them. And I think that I maybe am a little reckless and not as cautious, that they're all a little more cautious. I'm like, I'm enough crazy for all of you. They can learn from my lessons.
I love that. I love that. I tell my kids often that I'm grateful they chose me as their mom
Yeah.
because
I
I feel the same way. They're so brilliant. And
yeah.
I just feel blessed that I'm their mom. If you were able to go back in time and have a conversation with the 8-year-old Lucy, what words of wisdom would you give her that would help her achieve all that her little heart desires?
Oh my gosh, that she's amazing and beautiful and enough. She doesn't have to get anyone else's permission. Oh, I wish I could tell her that. She doesn't need anyone's permission,
That's
you
right.
know?
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Very cool. All right, Lucy. If people and you focus on the Minneapolis area, is that right?
Yes, I am. Yep. Yeah, I'm really
Okay.
excited to yeah,
And so
Minneapolis it is.
if people want to connect with you, want to talk to you about your services, just share what are the services you do? How can
Yeah.
people find you? How can they connect with you?
Yeah, for sure. I'm really focused on the solar shingles. I know solar's a whole there's a lot going on here, but I just think that it's just gonna explode here with the solar, I know. And I love our product that we're bringing to the table. And I had a few customers last year. We just launched solar. GAF launched solar in June, and we're excited to be one of the preferred installers for them. So yeah, it's a great product. You don't have these like heavy panels on your roof. You got a complete waterproof system. And I'm happy to help anyone that's looking into updating the roof or going through any issues with that. There's quite a few credits and things like that going on. But yeah, just taking on the solar side of things. Obviously, we do the roof siding, windows, gutters. We have a really cool gutter system as well, where we're building them on site, and they're a one-piece gutter system that's maintenance free. So yeah, some fun projects that we're working on. And if you can connect with me either my social media or our website, estateclaimservices.com, and my social media, Lucy Davis, on Facebook or Instagram.
Nice.
Or you can just call me. Or come
Perfect.
to AGC and we can network together. I love the group there. It's really fun to
It
meet
is.
and socialize.
It's a great group. Yeah, definitely. Fantastic. Okay, so all your contact information will be in the show notes.
Awesome.
Are there any last nuggets of wisdom you'd like to leave with the listeners?
Nuggets of wisdom. Wow. I don't know. Just thank you for listening to this story. And I guess the listeners, I hope that you're pursuing your best life and having a blast out there. And I look forward to meeting you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucy. I really appreciate your time today.
Yes. Thank you so much, Polly. I appreciate it as well.
And listeners, if you've enjoyed the show, please follow and subscribe so that you get the weekly updates so you can listen in and learn how to continue to live into your best life day after day. Each show gives you nuggets and inspiration. And leave us a 5-star rating so that we can spread the message to others. That's how we get found through the algorithm. And if you want to be even more direct, share the link with your loved ones or even people that you know you can inspire, even though it's not your words. Share our words to help them move forward. Yes. So until next time, continue to live into your best life and enjoy the journey.
Thank you for listening to Polyskaya, your show host for Live Into Your Best Life. Check out the show notes and visit her at polyskaya.com to learn more and continue your journey. Until next week, enjoy the adventure.